Well, good morning and welcome to the Seneca County Board of Commissioner meeting. Today is September 21st, 2023. This is our regular meeting. It's 10 o'clock a.m. and we'll open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Commissioner Shuffle, lead the prayer today.
Thank you. Please go. Dear Lord, please bless us and guide us here as we go to discuss issues facing our county, our residents and citizens. Please help us to make our decisions here in your will, to do the best we can for our people. Help us to work together for solutions and to make a better community for everyone. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Here.
Commissioner Schuff?
Here.
Commissioner Frankert?
Here. So at this time, I will accept a motion to approve the digital audio recording of our previous board meeting held on Thursday, September 14th, 2023 at 10 a.m.
So move. Second.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Frankert?
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff?
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso?
Yes. It was nice as well that you talk about it, but we went through the audit with the, our exit audit with the auditors, state auditors, and these minutes are valid.
Yes.
The digital recording, and so they had to tweak a few things. It's kind of cool, but nice job. Okay, so commissioner report, or I guess we'll jump into our two guests, right? Start with Katie. Bill, you want to introduce Katie as she's with your committee?
Sure.
State Extension.
Sure. I'd like to welcome Katie Cole. Come on up. She's with OSU Extension.
I miss being on that committee. he's doing a great job.
We miss you too, Tony.
Thank you.
Like a sore thumb, right? Is that
That was good.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about all the different things that's going on in Extension kind of right now. So I'll first start with our SNAP Ed ladies. They have just finalized Cooking Matters classes in both Fostoria and Tiffin over the summer. I believe a week or two ago. They just finished those. Classes were held at the Tiffin Community Kitchen and Pantry Plus of Seneca County. For the fall, they are preparing for programming based on My Plate and the 5 food groups in the schools, grades K through 5, beginning the first week of October. And they will also be programming with GLCAT preschoolers in both Fostoria and Tiffin. They are getting back to, like I mentioned, Fostoria City Schools in October, and Jessica just started a new partnership with Kids City Daycare this month, and that is going well. And she is also starting with Fostoria Head Start and Bridges Academy next month. So that's a little bit about our SNAP Ed program. And then Presley, our A&R educator, just wanted me to bring up the Seneca County Farm Talks event that she is holding this upcoming Monday, September 25th from 8 to 10 a.m. At our extension office. There's going to be several different people there to talk on different things. So Presley, our A&R educator, she is kind of putting this on. She will kind of be organizing the roundtable discussions that will be happening. Then we have Matthew Romenko, Water Quality Associate. That's going to talk on water management. Bruce Clevenger, who is our OSU Extension Field Specialist, to talk on farm management. And then we have Bill, who's going to talk on current legislative topics. So anyways, that is for anybody to join at our extension office this upcoming Monday from 8 to 10 a.m. And then for 4-H, a few weeks ago we had.
Taking a deep breath.
I
saw you pause there. This is going to be like a good. We're ready.
A few weeks ago we had our annual Grade A celebration held at Sentinel. And that was a really nice event with good entertainment, a catered meal. We recognized many of our tenured volunteers, advisors, and of course our youth that spent lots of time and efforts in their projects, and some of those went on to represent us at the state level, and we did very well. We had a couple of youth that got the state clock trophy award for their project, outstanding of the days, and then many who represented in the livestock areas as well. So we had a great event for that. Last week I was able to attend one of our biggest statewide fundraisers for 4-H called Celebration of Youth, held at Leeds Farm in Ostrander. Again, it's one of our largest fundraising events statewide for the Ohio 4-H program. It was a really nice, beautiful evening out there. We got to, celebrate all of, 4-H throughout the year and raise funds for 4-H. So that was nice. And then just some upcoming programs and things that we're doing. Like currently right now, we are doing a coloring contest. So these are located at various different locations throughout the county. I know Ag Credit, Tractor Supply, Rural King, and then of course our extension office has these for youth to pick up and drop off. This is going on right now. And the entries are due by Monday, October 16th at those locations by 4:30 p.m. This is for ages 5 to 12. We're doing 2 different drawings or selections, I guess, for winners. So 5 to 8 and then 9 to 12 for the coloring contest. And then another thing that our junior leadership is hosting here in October, we're having like a watch party, like a game day Sunday event for the Browns versus Colts game, and this is at the fairgrounds. We're going to have different tailgating snacks and foods and games and have that game on.
Fun.
So yeah.
Is that new? That's new?
Yeah, that's newer. Yep.
Fun.
So, and then the top thing that I have is, since we're kind of rounding out our 4-H season, is just kind of an infographic of our different numbers and such for the year. So in total we had 936 youth enrolled in Seneca County 4-H. 783 of those are project members and 153 are our Clover Buds. For 4-H camp this year, we had 128 total campers and counselors that attended our various different residential camps up at Kelly's Island and Clover Bud Day Camp. For our Seneca County Fair, we had 1,463 projects exhibited at our fair, and we had nearly $500,000 raised in our livestock sale. And then we still have a couple more Car-Teens programs for the year, but in total we've reached around 50 court-ordered teens for that program. And just a lot of what I've mentioned as far as our like scholarship recipients and different awards that we've given out throughout the year, and a lot of our community supporters and such. So that's a fun infographic for a summary snapshot of our program here. So I have copies for...
Received information about the Christmas lights.
Yes, and
So let's
yes.
hear, we're starting
And
to get
junior
ready
fair,
for Christmas
yep.
now. Junior fair.
Yep.
Get with us on
Thank
that.
you.
We did that last year.
Yes, and I
That's
think...
kind of, that was a success, right?
Yes, it was a huge success this
Given-
past year, and my understanding is that there is an influx of interested different businesses, corporations,
Yeah.
families, etc., that are wanting to put up a display this year. So I think it's going to be an even bigger event. So yes, if anyone is interested in putting up a display, please reach out to either us or Emily Gilliland out at our junior fair office, and we can get you the information and everything for that.
Kind of neat, you know, it's
Yeah,
always,
cool.
the first year you do it, it's so much work. And then when everybody experiences how great it is, it's and that's one of those scenarios that, look, we enjoyed that. We went through there a few times, actually. Anything for Katie?
Oh, just want to, fantastic, you're all over the fair, I tell you, being there about every day, and this thing going on, that thing, so you do a great job working with the youth, and a lot of great compliments and stuff on what you do there.
For sure. Does Judge Alt come to your meetings? Because Judge Cowley rolled off, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there anybody from that office on there?
At our like senior fair board meetings.
Yeah, no, at the committee meetings.
Oh,
Remember the 5 o'clock meeting?
you know what? I'm not sure because our next one is going to be in October.
You might want to reach out to
So
them.
we have a quarterly extension advisory meeting.
That's the one I'm referring
Yes.
to.
Yep.
Because Judge Cowley would come to all those.
And I want to say his last one that he went to was the last one we had in like
So
April.
maybe Judge
Right.
Alt.
So,
Commissioner
we'll
Frank
see,
would
I
reach
guess,
out to
yeah.
him.
Yeah, I'll get
Yeah.
you his,
Yeah, because he would be,
if he's,
he would be good to,
Yes.
really, any of those guys. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then I think this Sunday is at the, Master
Yes.
Gardeners.
Yep.
Yeah,
This
from
Sunday,
1
the
to 4.
24th, is the Master Gardeners like open house, their celebration as well. Yes.
That's at the
All kinds
fairgrounds,
of
right?
things. Yes, at the fairgrounds.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great work.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have another guest. I'll let you introduce Renee. That's Bill's on that committee, FEDC.
So welcome Renee, and we just
Yeah.
had a meeting this morning, so she can give a few highlights on that. That'll say.
Thanks for coming over.
Of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
course.
great to see what's going on.
I'm going to start by wearing my land bank hat. Okay?
Yeah.
So I wanted to come in today and kind of provide you guys a little update on the land bank. I know you all participate in the meetings, but it's hard to believe the land bank has been around for 8 years already. So we started that in 2016. And I was pulling some of the numbers together, and we have, through that program, acquired over 125 properties. And I think it's important to note that those properties have been condemned, they are severely delinquent on taxes, and they are vacant. The land bank does not evict anyone or anything like that. Of those properties, we have sold 60 of them and put them back on the tax roll. We currently have 16 in the pipeline for demolition, and we have 44 vacant properties that are still available to sell. A couple years ago, the state of Ohio, through the Ohio Department of Development, created 2 new programs. One is the Brownfield Remediation Program, and the other one was the Site Revitalization and Demolition Program. And each county gets set aside funds. For the Site Revitalization Fund, it's up to $500,000, and through the Brownfield Remediation, it's $1 million. And when they originally rolled those out a couple years ago, if your county had a land bank, the land bank was automatically the lead entity for those programs. They just renewed those programs in the new budget, passed in July, and what they have done, one of the changes they have made is that if your county is less than 100,000 citizens, the county commissioners appoint the lead entity for those programs. So I am hoping that the county commissioners will appoint the land bank as the lead entity for those programs since we've been operating them. And we do already have a list of properties for both programs that people have reached out to us on.
Is the amount of money the same?
It is.
500, 1 million?
It is. Now, they're still updating the guidelines. I sat in on a webinar Monday. They are hoping the guidelines specifically for the site revitalization program are out sometime in October, and they'll hold informational webinars, and then the brownfield around that same time. But they are updating some of those documents now. But I think the land bank has been a tremendous asset for the county. I know it has been for the city of Fostoria. I know we've done projects here in Tiffin and also in different townships. But through those programs, the first round, we were able, through the site revitalization and demolition program, to tear down 12 different properties, one of those being the old youth center owned by the county. And then the brownfield program, we had sites in both Tiffin and Fostoria that,
Actually, the TSEP site, so for those listening, the money was used for that, right?
yes,
The phase 1 or 2.
yep.
So are you asking us, are you asking us that are you saying you're willing and able to do this again?
Yeah, I think the land bank
Continuing
is
to be the
the
authority.
right vehicle
So
to
I will
handle
just
these.
end this real quick.
There's a resolution on
We've got
that
the resolution,
will pass.
but I'm gonna end this with the comment that I echo everything Renee's doing. and really the land bank. There's a group of us that are on the land bank. You do the administrative side, but the mayors are on the land bank, you know, the health commissioner. I think we really have all three commissioners here. We really have good discussion. The prosecutor has a seat at the table. We do everything possible to give the landowner the opportunity to catch up on their taxes, clean up their properties. We are not, you know, aggressive in any way or shape or form of not respecting property rights. But in the end, when there is that property that just has no owner or nobody, it's just in limbo, or they don't cooperate, then we take the steps to.
Well, and I think the land bank's a
It's
great
just great.
example of the cooperation within the county.
Yeah.
To your point, the commissioners, you've got both municipalities, you've got the health department, you've got the prosecutor's office. I mean, everybody's working together on this. And I think that speaks highly of the county.
And it's cleaning up neighborhoods too. If you have a street and you have that one bad house on the street, it kind of brings the rest down as far as property values
Yes.
goes. Get them back on the tax rolls and get them for sale, or maybe the neighbor wants to buy it and do something with it. But it's been a great program, and if you're looking for a motion, but
We'll do that, but give us one highlight from this morning.
From this morning.
There's so many positive things.
Right,
Come on.
yeah, so one of the
You're here
highlights
now.
is that we just got another $1 million grant, you know, for the city of Fostoria, for the trees and so.
Yeah, we
forth.
put in
That
a grant through the USDA, the forestry, and we were notified last week that we're getting $1 million over the next 5 years. So the city can really create their own urban forestry program and hire a certified arborist and do all the necessary assessments associated with that to really take care of some of those issues. They notified us and they said they had 842 applications because it was federal money. They awarded 385 of those. So
Nice. That's huge.
we're pretty proud of that.
is that more geared towards planting more trees and getting more coverage, or getting down some of the dead ones that are
All
getting
of
into the
the above.
sewers? Cover everything.
All of the above.
That's
Great,
fantastic.
put a plan together.
Yep.
Love it.
So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's always good to see you. Okay, so that's, looking at you, Barb, that's all we have for appointments that we, okay, so we'll jump into commissioner reports. Commissioner Frankert?
Yep. So last Thursday, we was at the County Township Association meeting in Bloomville. Great, tennis down there. Tony, Commissioner Paradiso was there, Renee was there, and kind of meeting with everybody and looking towards the future of grants and stuff that the townships are going to be able to work with FEDC on, and she did a nice little presentation for them, kind of what some of her success has been and what she's looking at for the future there. So I think there's been some reach out from that already. So starting in January, that's going to be a good avenue to work with throughout the whole county. So with spent Friday down at the Heritage Festival, down at the school days, fourth graders stuff on that. There was numerous folks there. Tony did a nice job with the opening ceremonies, and then kind of flew around, helped deliver lunches, and worked with Christy and Judy down there. They did a fantastic job. I really appreciate the time that they spent to get that back moving again, and made it a positive day, that's for sure. It was a great day. We did the parade on Saturday morning. What a parade! I mean, that was quite a.
Your wife can drive every year.
Yeah, so
She's good at it, perfect pace,
So, a couple of times they had to holler to kind of slow down, and that left
That
foot
was
first
me.
kind of gets
You
at
did.
I don't
it.
know, you guys were panting pretty hard.
So, and then followed up, and I went down and did the proclamation for the United Way, their kickoff, and they already have, I think Chris said already 26,000 lined up ready for that. So the toughest thing on that, reading the proclamation was pretty easy, but then we all had to sing "Lean on Me." So here you are on stage, and I kind of I felt like
That's why you walked back,
I kind of
You looked in the daze.
yeah, so it's kind of at least the favorites are, trying to.
Is that on a video somewhere?
Yeah, I think there's probably. I think my daughter might even.
Jimmy,
have
we might have to look that up.
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, I imagine there's ransom going around on that stuff. So No, that's good a day, and I tell you that I was there, and the vendors should have been real happy, and boy, just lined up at
Perfect
lunchtime.
weather,
Oh,
a lot
it's
of people.
fantastic, what a great weekend for that whole event. I had to come back into town Saturday night, and I mean, there was just a lot of people, and everybody lined up there, so it should
That's great.
have been a fantastic day on it. Monday, we had down to 3 candidates on the Family and Child First Council, and they're going to proceed with that. There's a meeting Monday. I'm going to be at Extension, so 8 o'clock, if one of us could go out there to the NCOS building for that at 8 o'clock. They're going to try to do the final stretch of that, so.
Is it public who the final 3 are?
Good question. I don't know. Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah, that's, yeah. So I think there's.
So that's, I don't know, that's an
I don't know, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you talk like I
hate
do,
to-
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, so, good question, that's, yeah,
Are we going at 9 or 10? Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly. We gotta be at 10, we tell Tony 9, so we're there by 10, so, right.
We just gotta get the commissioner language.
Exactly,
Oh,
down
good.
pat there, so yeah, so. Tuesday was at the Farm Science Review, they had the legislative, and then had the opening and down there, and boy, what a packed, Farm Science Review it was. They had actually,
Saw those pictures.
picture, yeah, it was amazing. They had actually Glenn Miller from CCAO was there, and Cheryl Silverthal. There's a lot of some other commissioners, and then Governor Dwyer kind of did a speech. A couple things he pointed out that that in down at the State Fair, they're going to put up a 200,000 square foot building down there, and kind of collaborative effort with some Extension and Farm Bureau stuff, and do some stuff like that, and some.
He's
some
huge
stuff
in
going
the
on.
fairs.
He's
He's a
yeah,
big
he
supporter
really
of
does.
Governor Dwyer.
Yeah.
Of the fairs, yes.
And
Very,
then back to
very-
the singing thing, and he wanted everybody to get up and you know, I would sing the theme to the Jetsons. So how many ever know the Jetsons in there? Because they just landed that company coming in and Montgomery County to kind of the flying, you know, taxis, I guess you call them. So he was pretty proud of that. It's 2,000 jobs coming in to the state on that. So that was a couple
Great
of his
stuff.
highlights, and he talked about that. So that'll be interesting. Imagine us 3 commissioners riding around in a taxi together. I see nothing but bad things happening. So yeah, so that
crazy
was a good day. And then last night, I was speaker at the North Central Ohio Conservative group there, and then this morning we had FEDC this morning, and another fantastic report. A lot of stuff happened in Fostoria, and I tell you, they really hit on, you know, the collaborative effort with TCEP and, you know, the cities, now with the townships and everybody, you know, working together to make, you know, for grants and other stuff coming down the pike here with housing and all that stuff. So again, kudos to you guys out there that, yeah, so been a busy week. So there you go.
Thank you.
All right.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
You sound like Katie over there.
Yeah, we had a nice busy week this week. So I don't know if you guys remember, but in the previous week's report or 2 weeks ago, I had mentioned that Governor DeWine had put out that notice or email about the $100 million for railroad crossing safety improvements to send another. So as soon as I seen that pop up across my desk, I got a hold of Renee, called Mayor Fostoria, reached out to TCEP, reached out to the engineer's office. So we had talked and stuff. We're getting some ideas around. And then by the time I called the engineer, he'd already had his application turned in and done. So before I could even get the email open, he was already on it. So we're looking at possibly doing some improvements on, was it 592, correct, Renee?
I think that's what you told me.
Yeah. So kudos to the county engineer Zimmerman for being so quick and prompt on the spot here to apply for some of that stuff. We had a TCEP ribbon cutting yesterday. So when I first started out on city council 15 years ago, the SIDEC office used to be where the coffee shop is now. Then they had moved across the river over there to where the dentist office is, and they have their new location now. Water renovation, Klaus and those guys did a great job as far as the renovations and everything went. So hopefully it's nice to see the chamber and TCEP working together. The Visitors Bureau, it's all under one roof now, right across from the courthouse, centrally located. So excited to see what they can get done in there, and I know they plan to improve the second and third floors as well. So congratulations to the Reineckes as well. Let's see here. Last Thursday, while the other two commissioners were at the Township Trustees Association out in Bloomville, I attended the downtown celebration, or the Main Street celebration. Some really great businesses and entrepreneurs recognized. Congrats to all those folks. There was at least 7, 8 of them. I can't rattle them off the top of my head, but congrats to those people and all the differences they're making across the community and the county. A very well attended event as well. Also had some meetings here this week with a group from Florida looking to do some business development type stuff here in the county. So nice to see that things are still progressing forward and people are still investing and looking for space. And I think we're really putting Seneca County on the map with all the things that we've been doing here in the recent years, and just the collaboration. I think it's really starting to get out there and people are noticing. 1 o'clock today, we'll be taking a tour of the youth center. Going out
Sheriff's
to
office.
Sheriff's office, I'm sorry, thank you. Yeah, we're going out there with Brewer Garrett, kind of see, look at some energy things and seeing if we can find some savings out there as far as our utilities and heating, electricity, all that stuff goes. Also this week, the three of us attended the audit exit interview. So we had the auditor here and we had some individuals here from the state office. That was about an hour and a half long meeting, but audit was really good. Kudos to Julie and her department. It was a very good, clean report. So monies are being spent the way they're supposed to be. And the one thing that we did kind of get out of that was they did mention that we had a lot of court orders. So I guess we'll address that at a later date. But just that was really the only thing that came out of that, the main thing. Budget Commission this week. We had the Budget Commission, Board of Revisions. I attended that on Tuesday. And then just some events. We had the Sandusky River Clean Sweep here this Saturday. Sunday, as they had mentioned, is the Master Gardeners at the fairgrounds, and that's at 1 o'clock Sunday. And then tonight in downtown Tiffin, they have the Pizza Palooza or Pizza Party, where I think they have a dozen and a half different pizza places, and it's one of the bigger events for downtown. So
Mamma mia.
if you want to stuff your face on some pizza, come to downtown Tiffin tonight. So good busy week.
Well, you know, I think the theme of this report today is cooperation. Because I write some things down. We backed each other up a lot this week, which is really good. Because you were at the event with the governor, and you went to Board of Revisions, and we went to the township meeting, you went to downtown. Those are the kind of things, even as commissioners, when you work together, along with everything else we've been talking about, we can really get a lot of things done. So thanks all of you for doing that. Now I'm just going to go in order. My regrets to TSEP for not making it last night. I couldn't do it. I'm very pleased that the commissioners were represented, but I know, Bill, you stopped in earlier.
Yep.
I couldn't get in there. So really proud of what they've done. Green Springs passed a resolution this week to formally join the Seneca County EMS district. We've been saying 16 plus 1 or 17. They have a fire EMS levy now. They're kind of unwinding that, and they have formally passed a resolution and vetted that all out legally. And tonight, the joint EMS district will be discussing and passing a resolution accepting them into the joint EMS district. So great work there, a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot of cooperation, and that'll get us to 17, and it started with you 8-9 years ago, so that's pretty exciting. Barb and I, again, we divided a little bit. We went out for the EMS, the new building on 224. We had a 9 o'clock Monday morning meeting. What was it, Monday? Tuesday morning meeting. Everybody was somewhere. They're doing great. The update is, it looks more like April for a completion date. So let's just start with May 1st in our heads, and I think that's a comfortable date, right? There's always something going on, nothing really major, but good progress there. I think the exit audit was, we had great discussion this year, and I'll leave it at that, but it was all positive. You talked to Engineer Zimmerman, I talked to Engineer Zimmerman, as we discussed at a prior meeing. He is submitting a grant for sewer study for the New Riddle area. And I asked him, last week we passed a resolution freezing the sewer income or fees for Hammer Heinzman
Right.
only,
Only.
and not the other four. Of course, we saw the headlines in the paper, City of Tiffin, 5%. So I had a discussion with him about the other four. You know, why can't we freeze the other four? And we got into discussion of, I guess he spent some time recently with Charlene, the auditor himself, looking at all the numbers, the reserves, reassessing everything. And he basically said it's tight. You know, he said, I think things are tight. We got to find cost savings, or we're going to have to raise the fees. You know, because these things are expensive. So, to our friends in the other four districts, that was the answer that I got from Mark. And I think we got to take a look at ways to maybe save costs there. You know, I just want to learn more about it, because part of our success as a county is trying to compress fees, regulation, just make life as affordable as possible for those that live here. And so that was that. I echo Bill with the Heritage Festival. While you were singing Lean on Me, we had the opportunity to go to the Elks Lot for the German, what do we call it, Oktoberfest?
German Heritage, the German festival, yeah.
And Commissioner Schuff asked me to swing by his house so he could put on his, what's the thing called?
Lederhosen.
The Lederhosen, the German. So I had a little vest and we tapped the keg, and you know, the accordion was gone, and so we were singing too, but I have no clue what we were singing. The whole thing was fun. I mean, it was just fun running into people, walking around, and kids, and it was great.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Tony's actually half German. I always thought he was Italian, but when he was giving his speech, he's actually half German. So.
And my mother, yeah. But you know, if you're 5% Italian, and somebody asks you, what are you?
You're Italian.
You say, I'm Italian. That's an intro. That's how we.
That's how you roll.
Yeah, that's how we roll. So anyhow, just hard work. It's just great. I mean, we all realize all the hard work to go and put in parades and having all these downtown events and pizza parties and festivals. And I know I see some city candidates here. You know, it's public safety, it's fire, it's police, it's emergency. There's a lot to go. Insurance. You know. There's a lot that goes into all this stuff, and you know, it's appreciated. Thank you for all that.
And I think Marissa did a really good job lining up, because I mean, she had 3 streets she had to kind of
She was-
manage.
they were
everybody
working-
like,
and they were working hard. I could-
Yeah, that was
And all the prep, so
Yep.
thanks again. And
Fantastic. Yeah.
spirit of today's meeting is cooperation and kind of just celebrating all the good things. So with that,
Okay.
your report.
I might bring it down a little bit.
Good. Put us down to reality.
I have some financial information for you, so that might not be what you're looking for, but
Always.
sales tax collected in September would be roughly for the sales that were purchases that were done in July. We received $1,018,067.41 in sales tax. That is just over $4,000 from the previous month's collection, and for the prior year, it's roughly $4,600 more than the previous year at the same time. Sales tax is trending pretty steady. We should be at approximately 75%, and the percentage is 74.49%. So it's down just a little bit. My hope is that our projection of the $12,050,000 that was certified by Budget Commission, I'm hoping for it to be exceeded. That's kind of where Jimmy has looked at the numbers, and I've looked at the numbers, and we think it might be a little bit more than what was certified, but I mean, anything can happen at this point. So just those numbers there. And then, so as of August 31st revenue collection. For the month of August, we collected almost $3 million, $2.98 million in revenue collection. For the year, that puts us at $16 million collected. Then on the expense side, for the month of August, we expensed $1.5 million, just over that. And for the year, we have expensed $15.5 million. So our revenue is higher than our expenses at this point. So that's always a good thing to hear.
That's a fantastic thing.
Well, with your introduction, you got us a little nervous.
Well, you never know. You never know what the numbers are going to bring. So
Yeah.
I do also want to let you know that we did have a chiller repair that we've talked about clear back in June. They were looking for a part for the repair out at the sheriff's office. That part has come in, and that repair is actually scheduled for today. So I'm hoping that maybe they got out there first thing this morning, and so we won't,
Wow.
at least
Who do we have putting it in?
Wadsworth.
Okay, good.
Yep. So that was it took them that long to find the part that they needed to get that done. So, but that should be going in today. So that's a good thing. I don't have to worry about the sheriff's office calling me and telling me that they don't have any cooling out there or anything like that. So.
Well, we have 3 children.
Turn on the fan.
I think my understanding is that maybe the last spare part in the world.
Yeah, it took them a
Yeah,
long time.
so-
I don't know. They were contacting old
And
dealers
I'm
and
serious
people
about
that
that.
were
So
that used to do it and are no longer in
we
business.
just hope one of the other ones.
So
Right.
we have to hope that
Yeah.
it'll work out until we can get a permanent solution out there. So
Fingers crossed.
Nice job. Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, Commissioner Schuff and I sat with the JDI group in regards to maybe some RTA facade updates. I have in front of me a request for proposal of $4,000 for them to give us, I believe it was 3 renderings.
3.
Just to it's just kind of to see maybe what kind of cost it's gonna,
That was a discount too, didn't they say it was normally like
as
3 for 6? or
3 for
something?
6 or something like that.
Barb beat them up on price a little bit.
But this just kind of gives us an idea of maybe to put on the capital project list of a cost associated with it.
So I'd like to just talk a couple seconds about this, Renee. So what we've been doing the past couple of years as commissioners is, and this goes back to Senator Reinecke's, goes back 5-6 years, being with Mike Ditto and Grants, being shovel ready and having projects that you can hand off. You come to us, hey, there's a grant on downtown, whatever, and we have something we can give you. So we don't do it just to do it, but if we think it's something that's on our list, it's just not a priority. If it's something we just are never gonna do, then we wouldn't have this discussion. But that's something maybe down the road we would do. As commissioners, we've discussed and spent anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, is that a fair
Yes.
number? To take an idea, hire an architect, get it put down on paper, so that we're ready to take it to the next step. The next step then is to engage an architect and go into the plans. And then that's another cost. So,
Plan our work and work our plan.
yeah, so I think that's just a backdrop because this comes up every once in a while. We've done that with the ag building and maybe taken that a couple steps. We did that with EMS and then took it to the next step. We've spent some money to look at Bettsville to research that. This falls in that category. Do you have any input as a grant writer or anything to add to that thinking or philosophy, or is there anything else what's your take on
No,
it?
I think you're on the right track because, I mean, right now with all the funding that is out there and the funding that's been put in this new budget, if you're going to be soliciting funds, they have to understand what you're soliciting funds for. And they are gonna look to see how far down the path are you. And at least if you have some renderings or something, it shows that you have made, you know, some investment in the project and that you're serious about it. So I think you're on the right track in what you're doing.
And just for another example, like the study we
Thank
paid,
you.
the study we paid for the broadband, if we wouldn't have had that study done,
That's a great
we
example,
might not be
Tyler.
getting some of these $1 million grants, but the government sees, or the state or federal sees you're serious when you put money forward. Hey, they have a plan, they're gonna spend the money wisely, we're not just asking for a blank check.
Yeah. So, I'm okay with it.
Certainly, yes.
I think it's just a good idea, that way,
Good.
you know, we,
Obviously,
keeping a
Yeah.
capital list, you know, and we would know what dollar amount we're looking for. You know, it's kind of a shot in the dark. I could say it could be X, and it actually could be Y, you know?
okay. And I'm gonna bring this up, we were gonna wait, but Barb and I went to the museum, and there's remember we had them do something. We had them do a little deeper dive. The scope of the work was a little deeper, and they laid $600,000-$700,000 estimate in front of us in the museum. And after we got our breath, we did the electric. Well, while they were doing the electrical and crawling all around, the electrician said, you really probably don't want to tear this building apart and do everything that. So they're going to be asking us, and this is within Barb's realm, to update that scope, actually bring it down, keep the heating system they have, maybe look at a humidity idea and a couple chillers for air, and because we have all new electric put in, and that scope of work's going to go way back down. Is that a fair description? So these are the kind of things, you have to have something to base a decision on, and along the way we have to spend a little bit of money. So we just want taxpayers to know we're trying to make informed decisions, and you're much better informed when you have professionals. You start with them. So.
And that's our goal, is we want to try to be more proactive rather than crisis management, reactive and stuff on this.
Competitive grants, we're going to be ready, have things kind of prioritized.
I understand what the other two commissioners just said. I mean, if the county's gonna have buildings, we're gonna have infrastructure, we gotta take care of them. So if we know what we're looking at ahead of time, it makes it a lot easier to stomach or digest. Like Commissioner Franker said, be proactive as opposed to reactive.
Okay, good. Thank you.
The other thing I have, Mental Health and Recovery sent me over an addendum for the Community-Based Corrections Subsidy Grant Agreement. This was originally signed back in August. Nothing changes for the dollar amount or anything like that. They've just added some additional language for liability and civil rights assurances and some of the terms of the original contract. So they're just requesting that we re-sign this addendum, so I'll just pass that along. It's just some added information they wanted into the addendum of that. The other thing was, last week, the Blanchard River Log Jam met during our meeting last week. All of the counties that are involved in that Blanchard River streaming to keep the creeks and everything open. They met last week and had a bid opening. They have requested that we do an assessment to our parcels within the county for to help pay for this project. And they have requested that it be a $4 assessment fee for each parcel starting in '24. I just got this information, so I'm kind of reading through some of it. It was agreed upon back in, I believe it was May. We had an initial meeting, and then they were going to go out for bid to kind of clean up this project.
Yeah, see, personally, I don't remember the meeting.
Bill and I sat at the meeting in
You guys had
May.
it.
In May.
Okay.
And
So you two
then,
were on the-
they requested a meeting last week. Well,
I
it was
see.
during our regular board meeting, so we could not attend.
Okay, fair enough.
So, so I
you
asked
guys-
them to
Yeah,
send.
there's only a few, I mean,
I
parcels.
think our parcel count is like 311 or something like that.
So you're gonna bring a recommendation to us?
Yeah, but I just
Good
wanted to
for
bring
now.
it to your attention
Okay.
that there will be a resolution asking for that assessment of $4 to be put on the real estate
A lot of
taxes.
drainage things this year.
Oh, it's
Seems like
drain's been, yeah.
it
it's
never ends.
Ever
I
ends,
know
right.
it never ends,
Right,
it just
yeah.
never ends.
So,
Okay, well, good, yeah.
That's just being brought to your attention, if there's additional questions that you guys
So
have.
we're headed down the path to recommend approval, is that what this is?
Yeah,
You guys
it's
are
pretty
good.
much,
Under maintenance,
it's,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
so
so
it's
it's
not a whole lot of,
it's not a new project, it's ready on, and then when they assess it, and then,
Yeah, it
it
needs-
cover the
we gotta
cleaning
clean
and
it.
then.
they gotta clean it out, and
Yep.
so it just gets assessed to that property owner that is
Do they
part
have a
of that.
meeting where the people can come to it, or no? It's
So-
usually-
Well, that's what the hearings are.
That's what the
People-
hearings
yeah,
are
That's
then.
what, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
so
they have, they wanna
people
come
can
to
still
it, but
come.
once it's on maintenance, it's.
Yeah.
When you buy the property, you know it's on maintenance, and
That's
it's
right.
really,
Okay,
maintenance
good.
programs are a good program, because what happens is drainage, you pay for drainage whether you have or not, just like tile, so, when you invest, $1,000, $1,500 an acre in tile, and you can't get the outlet for it, that's not a good thing either. So
Yeah.
that's what, by having them on maintenance, keeps the whole channel clear. What happens is you might keep yours clear, but then it's a roadblock because your neighbor's not taking care of that. So that's how these
Yeah.
like projects, it's important to have that.
And I will make the comment that this $4 assessment on the parcels, it only covers the project. It's not, they're not asking for anything additional
Yeah,
to
long-
bank or anything
right.
like that. So it's just to cover the project itself.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing that I have, I think this is maybe one of the last things that I have, the wellness program. I had a meeting with Ginger and Tasha and Andrea last week in regards to this program. We've done it in the past. So these would be the rates. So if someone would be on insurance this year, be able to do the tiers of the wellness program. So when the renewal comes in 25, if they have reached a certain tier, they would get a discount on their wellness.
Is that what that thing is?
Yes.
Did you
that's
put
the-
this on my desk?
I may have.
Okay,
I may have.
I got it. I was
So,
gonna ask
so
you
there's
about
3 tiers. The first tier being, they have to do they have to meet certain criteria, and I believe this year, Subco has set it up a little bit different than we have in the past, where you have a certain number of opportunities, and you're actually gonna get cash if you meet requirements. So, and it's gonna be based off of you going to the doctor, and that explanation of benefits gets
Yeah.
posted on your Sydney app. It may be worth $25.
Because wasn't the company that did all this, they're not around anymore, we had to switch?
I'm not sure.
Something
That
changed.
happened a couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So this is just-
And so the program is a little bit different. We don't have to log into a separate site.
Yeah.
This is all going to be based off of your EOBs now. So when you go to the doctor, that's part of this program. When you have your mammogram or those types of things, those are all going to be part of this program. And it's going to be, I think, a lot easier for people. They don't have to keep track of a lot of things. They don't have to go to a different website and go in and log into this or
So
that.
will we take action on it?
Yes, there's a resolution that I'm
One of our
asking.
employees does all these health and wellness, does a certain number, et cetera, they get a break on the.
Correct,
what
on their
they pay
their
the
portion of
premium.
their premium.
And
Yeah.
so we
And,
okay that.
and it's it's tiered differently, so the more activity you do,
Yeah.
the better benefit that you as an employee will get off of your portion of the insurance that you pay out of your paycheck.
Okay, so You don't have that finalized yet? Or
I do, I have it in a resolution, so we'll
Okay.
bring it through when we do resolutions.
Okay, is everybody good with that?
I can explain it.
Good with-
I can explain it a little bit more now if you want, or we can do it when we get to the resolution. It makes me
Okay,
no
if you have any
difference.
questions, you do it then. Yeah.
But it's just a program that we've continued. I think it's beneficial.
Yeah.
You get people to do wellness, and maybe our premium as a county goes down so that the county
Yeah,
isn't.
less client, you know, right, help people.
And I can tell you right now that we have 92 through the portal, which was the old way of doing it. They had 92 participants, so they would be at that first tier. And then you have 9 at the second tier and 12 that qualified for that third, for the highest amount of qualification for that reduction.
90 gigabytes, nice, it's good to hear.
So.
Okay,
And then I just want a reminder, no meeting on October the 5th. I know we keep going over this, but I'd rather remind people than them call and say, or come to for a meeting on the 5th and that we're not here, so.
okay.
That's all I've
Anything else? Any old business from anybody? Back to you, new business.
On to supplemental appropriations. I have $2 million for a transfer out from the general fund. This is actually going to our capital improvement fund. This is going to fund the remainder dollars for the EMS stations that we've talked about. We've committed that to the county when we went to the voters that we would do $3 million for 4 buildings. We're committed to the $3 million. May not be four buildings at $3 million, but we're committed to the $3 million.
Yep,
So this is the
certainly.
remaining money for that. I have a request for $12,000 for equipment from the Real Estate Access Fund. Portion of this is for the auditor's computers. I'm not sure what the other portion is for, but obviously she needs some other equipment out of real estate. I have a request for $9,854.07 out of the ARPA fund for equipment. That is the other half of the auditor's computers, which would be general fund side of things. And then also out of the ARP money, I have $906,238.40 for salaries, $12,516.63 for Medicare, and $138,948.74 for OPERS. This is for the correction for the sheriff's office that we approved back in August this year. This is part of the funding where we can use that money to offset the costs of the sheriff's office for mitigating COVID. This is actually not, and it's only based off of the information for the final ruling of the national emergency. This can only be performed through April the 10th. So it's from January 1 of this year to April 10th of this year. And those were the dollar amounts.
This is on the correction side.
Yeah, this
The
is
last
for the
time we did
correction.
it was the sheriff.
Yeah,
Did you
we've
do it before?
we've done it before.
roadside
We've done it. It's for the actual correction side.
Yeah, this is.
This
yeah.
is
So then we'll have about $1 million left in there, ARP?
Yeah, I think so. And so we're trying to get those monies used up. And then I have for
Okay.
the capital projects fund for the Southwest EMS station, which I'm calling Station 2, but I think it's going to be a different station number, but $50,000, and that's for the architect. That would be for the Newrigal area building. For the TCAP grant, I have contract services in the amount of $98,122. This is for payment for Oriana House for the remainder of the year. And then I also have probation's funding grant for $156,281, again, to pay Oriana House.
If there's no questions, I'll make a motion that we approve the supplemental appropriations as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Good? Roll call?
Commissioner Franker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution authorizing the fund transfers to be made to the Capital Improvement Fund, the 1215. This is for the $1 million from the general fund to that fund.
So move.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Commissioner Franker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into an engineering services agreement with RCM Architects for Seneca County EMS Station 2 or the Southwest Building.
So move.
Second.
Okay, little discussion. So this goes, Renee, so what we did there, we spent, what was our first, $3,500 or something?
Something like that. Mhm.
We had the architect go out, does this site work? This is also for the public, okay? Does this site work? Do we need to buy more land? Where can we put the septic tank? We had all those discussions and everything past that, then, or everything was okay there, then we went to the commissioners and the trustees of Seneca, we went to the prosecutor, we went to the auditor, we went to the engineer. Can we get an address? Can we lease the building? Do we need a survey? Can we split the lot? Don't we? Everything's good. We're ready to move forward. Now, we take from that 3,500, we add this next layer and we engage the architect to go ahead and design the building that's going to fit into that envelope. And so, so the public knows that's kind of how it works. We could have done the 3,500 and then they could have came back and said, this isn't going to work, you can't do it, and then we would have lost the 3,500. But in this case, it was a progression, so it's pretty exciting. Enough of that, roll call.
Commissioner Franker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Next resolution, establishing the four county systems of strength and wellness fund number 8137 on behalf of the Mental Health and Recovery Services Board of Seneca, Ottawa, Sandusky, and Wyandotte counties.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I can let you know that this is a grant through the Department of Health and Human Services, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. It is, I believe, the total grant award was $3,715,379. It is a multiple year grant. They anticipate receiving approximately $100,000 this year. I think this was it's a 4-year grant, so it goes
Okay.
through 27.
Good. Anything else, Fish? Good. Good. Roll call.
Commissioner Franker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing a change to the maintenance assessment reductions for John Weaver for Weaver Ditch number 11-033, effective beginning in 2024.
Motion for passage of the resolution?
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Franker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing a change to the maintenance assessment reductions for Caples Creek Farms for Muskloon Ditch number 11-095 and Caples Ditch number 11-254, effective beginning in 2024.
Motion for passage?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Franker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the 2024 Wellness Extra Incentive Program, or premium differentials for the 2025 discount. This is for the wellness portion.
So move.
Second. Okay. Any more discussion on this one?
Good.
Did the rates change a little bit?
Nope, they're
Keep them
exactly
same.
the same as they have been for probably 4 years.
Okay. Good. Roll call.
Commissioner Franker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes.
Okay, then the last resolution I have is recommending the Seneca County Land Reutilization Corporation as the lead agency for the Seneca County under the Brownfield Remediation and Building Demolition and Site Revitalization Programs of the Ohio Department of Development.
Motion for passage of the resolution, please.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Franker,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
An enthusiastic yes.
And that is all that I have.
Okay, nice job. Any other business from anybody before we go to the public?
Something I wanted to bring up here, I don't know if it'd be best for this meeting or next. So I know in the past few weeks, we've had some requests from the museum about handicap accessibility and ramps. So yesterday, just kind of fiddling around on the internet, I was trying to figure out a way how to make some of our buildings more handicap accessible for some of our residents, for our seniors, the handicapped, and so forth. I know there's a lot of times where I'll be in a area of Seneca County, whether it be in the downtown, one of the villages, Fostoria, Tiffin. A lot of these buildings are grandfathered in, so they're not all required to be ADA compliant. So I mean, I understand it, but it's very taxing, it's very expensive for our small business owners to put in a $10,000, $20,000 concrete ramp. So I was trying to think of something that is lightweight, mobile. Just doing a search here on the internet. I don't know if this, and Renee, I'm glad you're here today, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring this up. I'm not trying to blindside you, but I know there's grants for ADA compliance and this, that, and another, but you guys can kind of pass this down if you want. Just doing a quick search on the internet. Zach, take that, pass it around if you would, please. Just a sheet, or just let people kind of get a visual. So I found just a handicap accessible ramp here. It's a 6-footer. It folds in half. Like I said, length 6 feet. As far as the weight capacity goes, it's 800 pounds. The actual weight of the capacity that can hold on the ramp is 800 pounds. It only weighs 30. But I was trying to figure out a way, how can we help our seniors and our handicapped individuals get into the restaurants? Because I know there's a Sunday where we get out of church and somebody's trying to get into GWs, or they want to get into Clover Club so they can eat with their families and they can't get in there. So I just kind of looked at this as a mobile way of people having access to a ramp if they need it, but if they need to take it down, it folds up. It's 30 pounds. You can tuck it away somewhere behind a door. But
downtown committee, bring that up too.
Yeah, I mean, it would really help out some of our villages and both cities. And I just, at a cost of $320, I don't know if we could figure out a split with between grants or the government or the business owners pitching a little bit, but something to kind of make some of these businesses more handicap accessible without them having to fork over a exuberant amount of money. Just wanted to bounce it off you guys if you want to give it to a committee or something, but
I think that's, you
Talk
can talk to
about it.
Renee, but I think, to me, I would go to the downtown, the city, the downtown committee, with Donna, and that would be something, I can right now think of 5 or 6 establishments, maybe, they'd have it. But yeah,
just got my wheels turning a little bit, and I just need to start the construction. We might even have a local contractor here, like Seneca Sheet Metal or Sarka or somebody over in Fostoria that might be able to construct these. But I mean, honestly, there ain't a whole lot to them, and I'm just trying to figure out a way. I know when we take my grandma out to eat or breakfast, it's difficult for her to get into some places, and I know for GWs after church, like people are helping people with wheelchairs carry the wheelchairs down the stairs, and it's just it's frustrating to me, but it just seemed like a quick, easy solution. So just wanted to, I'll take that to the downtown committee.
yeah. And I semi-officially would like you talked to Donna about it. Maybe have you finish the year on the downtown committee.
Okay.
I'll talk with you. I'm trying to, it's just hard for me to make the meetings, and so it'd be great if you could do that. Barb and I are working extra time on EMS because there's a lot going on, so
I'll cover for you.
that would be great, yeah. And then first year we'll reset the committees, you know. Anything else? So we open up the floor to public comment here. We have a guest, Dennis would like to speak. Go ahead, you have the floor. State your name, please, address, and come on up if you want. And
good morning. My name is Dennis Snay, and I live at 74 Pinecrest Drive. That's in the 4th Ward. And so I'm here today to let people know that, introduce myself. I'm running for 4th Ward City Council. And I just to run through, and I'm running as a Republican. So, just to let you know a little bit about myself, I'm a business owner. I'm a minister, and I will soon be a retired veteran. I will become a veteran. I'll be retired this coming November. I started my career here in Tiffin at the National Guard building there on Riverside in 1984. And so I was a medic. I've been a fueler. I am now in the ministry. Been all over the world. I've counseled a lot of soldiers from all cultures. Trust me, it changes when you do that. So my family's been part of this community, been part of this fiber since the early 1900s. Mom was, her side of the family was part of Tiffin Crystal, Tiffin Glass. Who all remembers Tiffin Glass? Great stuff. My dad, he after World War II, he helped build the General Electric plant in 1946. And they both retired. Mom was one of the last ones to walk out of Tiffin Glass. My dad, he retired in 1977. As far as me, I'm quite transparent. I like to hold conversations. Obviously, since I counsel a lot of people, I definitely do that well. Big first responders. They are definitely a big foundation of our society. And so, since I have been a first responder in some capacities, I'm really big on supporting them. Been married for 8 years. My wife, she was an FBI agent, or FBI in DC for 33 years. Trust me when I say that I was checked out before, on a completely different level.
I hope you didn't blow her cover.
She didn't admit to that. So she wouldn't admit to it till about 8 months ago. She finally admitted to it. But anyways, and yeah, she's part of the. She's grew up in Tiffin also, Sycamore. So she grew up, went to Calvert. So we are very much a part of the community. Been a part of the community. Even though both her and I had different lives, we traveled all around the world. We came back to Tiffin, and we definitely want to make this our home for the rest of our lives, and we don't plan on moving away. But if you want to learn more about me, where I stand on issues, what have you, I am having a meet and greet on October 2nd at the Renaissance. So you're all invited, please come. It'll be from 7 to 9 p.m. and you know, it'll be great. Just to relax at the end of the day. If you had a hard day, you can relax and we could just hang out. Like I said, Patty and I plan on staying in this community, and you know, I'm going to go from caring of soldiers to caring of the citizens of Tiffin. So that's what
Thank you for your service in the military. And
thank you.
Thank you for stepping up to want to serve.
Oh, thank you.
thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
Anybody else? Okay, Lee?
Good morning, Lee Wilson, candidate for mayor of Tiffin. And the candidate signs are going up. You've probably seen them all around town for all the different candidates. So get to know your candidate. Earlier, Commissioner Schuff mentioned the Sandusky River cleanup. That's Saturday morning from 9 to 12 at the Junior Home Park, if you want to meet there. At the same time, downtown Tiffin has a downtown cleanup for people who want to participate in that. from 9 to 12, meeting at the Cherry Alley.
Good. Okay, Jimmy, back to you.
Yeah, I wanted to note that Ginger typed in the chat here and said that she might have heard it incorrectly, but there were 42 employees that reached the top tier of wellness, so I don't know if
So
you had a
many,
different
yeah.
number, but she had mentioned that, so I just wanted to read it. And then also, if you're joining us on the Zoom call right now and you want to speak, you can unmute your line and do that now during the public comment portion.
Where's Mike Ditto been? We have to get him, his group. They're back in session now, right?
I'm
here. I'm here, Commissioner.
Where are you? I knew you, I had this vibe, you were like looking at us.
Say his name 3 times.
So.
You know, we like to, the state likes to check in from time to time, so we wanna make sure
Yeah.
to supervise these commissioner meetings now.
Well, it's good to hear from you. We're kind of getting back into things down there in Columbus, right?
That's right. They're just the Senate just went back into session this week. The House has a much more reduced schedule. They just released a revised schedule a couple of days ago. Depending on how you look at it, fortunately or unfortunately, they only have 3 session days for the remainder of the calendar year. We'll still be doing active committee work, and I imagine that those session days would be robust, but it's a much more limited schedule. So one of the things that we'd like to do at the next commissioner meeting next week, if it's okay with you, is to do a little bit longer presentation. We want to update you on the EMS language in the budget. I think we're now kind of getting to the time where we need to engage with the Department of Medicaid on the next steps on that front, as well as continue a discussion with the 3 of you offline at your convenience about the capital budget. As I know, I heard a little bit of discussion on some of those things earlier in this meeting, and also this upcoming one-time strategic community investment fund. As you may recall from one of our past updates, the legislature allocated $700 million statewide from general revenue fund dollars for a one-time influx of cash for strategic community investments across the state. The legislature has not fully outlined yet the parameters surrounding that and how that's going to be spent. But to give you a size and scope of that, the past capital budgets that Seneca County has been the recipient of some dollars from, the total amount in that pot of money for the whole state of Ohio is about $150 to $160 million. So this is about 4.5 to 5 times greater, but it is definitely a one-time influx of cash to communities across the state. But we'll have parameters on that here in short order, more detailed than we already have. And we'd like to certainly strategize with you and Senator Reineke and Representative Click on how best to serve Seneca County, hopefully with some of those dollars.
Great. Mike, Tony, couple follow-up items. So Don, our EMS director, has been talking to a third-party company about this whole Medicaid billing that will go into effect January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So he has, I think you two need to talk. Okay, I know
Yeah, me too.
we're doing language, but he's acting like, I'm sensing he feels it's more defined than maybe I feel it is, because they're talking about going to the next step in billing, et cetera. And then number 2, last capital budget, we were awarded $75,000 for the Sentinel Vanguard project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we have to use that by July, right?
That's right, July 1 approximately. Okay. That's right.
And they are waiting, feel they're gonna hear something anytime. The bar keeps getting moved down the road a little bit, but I talked to Greg from Sentinel Vanguard, and they're waiting on news for a substantial capital grant. So whether they get that grant or not, our fingers are crossed, we need to do something with this $75,000, right?
That's right.
Okay, so
And-
we will circle back with you, because this is EMS related. And try to unwind that. We have to go through Tara and all that, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, don't want you or us to forget that. We're gonna need a little bit of help to, wiggle that through.
Absolutely. And if you think that, because I know, if I remember correctly from when we were working on the capital budget, when the 75,000 was allocated, the county was seeking actually quite a bit more than that. And it was only a small allocation. So that may be something you want to consider potentially, and again, we don't know the full parameters yet, to try and get some more of those funds if you think they are necessary in that strategic community investment fund. The difference between this new fund coming up, this one-time infusion of cash, it seems to be at the moment a little bit looser in requirements compared to the capital budget. As you know, the capital budget has to be bonded and has to have a nexus to the state with a state entity attached, like TARA or the Ohio Facility Construction Commission, things like that. The $700 million may not have those exact strings attached. So there are other projects that were partially funded in the capital budget in years past. That may be something to consider, strengthening and enhancing those, or potentially look at new projects. So we'll work with you to strategize, and we'll certainly not let that $75,000 go by the wayside for the EMS project at Vanguard.
Okay, so for the benefit of the other commissioners, if Sentinel Vanguard is successful with this large grant that they've applied for, we should be in pretty good shape with everything as is. If they're not successful, then there'll be more pressure and stress on building a lab. So we will need to maybe have that discussion about taking the 75 and looking at more money. And we would include Sentinel Vanguard in their whole public academy, public safety academy thinking. So this is timely, this is fluid, we should know 2 to 4 weeks, everything should come together on this, I believe. Okay, so for next week, we are not meeting the following week. We're all here with our calendars. Do we need to allow time during our public meeting for discussion and not put you at the end? Do you want to talk? Is there something we need to talk about during our regular meeting? Is there something you just want to schedule with the commissioners, or both?
Probably both. We'll give you a little bit more update on some of these other legislative items at your next meeting, and then perhaps offline we'll schedule a time for both myself and my colleague Patrick to come up to Tiffin, and we can talk a little bit more with the commissioners, with all of you individually on capital budget, etc.
And we would probably invite our grants person.
Absolutely, that's great.
Meeting. Yeah. Okay. So, how's our agenda look next week so far?
I think it's
We're
open.
pretty good.
Open, so.
I know of a couple things that aren't on there, but so Mike, we'll put you on, like 10:10 or 10:05 right away.
Great.
And
that'd be perfect.
And then we'll just have you come on and take it from there. So you might want to. Well, you have the floor then. Okay.
You got it. And it won't take too long. I won't take up your whole meeting, I promise.
Yeah, no, it's good. This is great. Okay, anything else from anybody on the, regarding Mike Diddle's firm?
No, look forward to next week.
Thanks for everything, Mike.
Thanks for that, Jimmy.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. I think the face-to-face meeting with Mike Diddle could be a month, could be 3-4 weeks from now. It won't be next week, and we're into the budget.
It'll be after the 5th.
We're in the budget, and we're trying not to, I don't think there's a crisis. We really need to wait yes or no if Sentinel gets that money. I think that will affect some of our discussion going forward. Yeah, unfortunately, some of the students at Sentinel and Tiffin that were in the EMS class this year, right now, got bumped out. So if you're in EMS and you're at Sentinel, you have to go to Fremont to take the class. We just found that out. They do not have lab space. So they got bumped, and Sentinel put some other programs in there. Greg feels bad. What this grant will do is provide dollars to build a physical space out at Sentinel where they can have EMT training, etc. So we're in that. We know money's coming. Everybody's a priority, but it got kicked down the road this year, and it's frustrating that there are a few kids that are in the program that look like they're either going to drop out or have to postpone it. So it's just part of the process. We're staying on top of it, but it's important. Okay, hearing nothing else, we will meet next week at 10 o'clock. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.